What is up, everybody? Jack here with devslopes.com in the Southern Command Center. We are rapidly approaching the end of building our iOS application. So far we already have our table view being loaded up. We have authentication built in. We can add a new food truck, and we can view the details of a food truck. So the only two pieces we've got left are reviews and add review. So let's go ahead and jump in and get these built. So to start with here, while we're here, I'm going to go ahead and drag two new view controllers out. And I'll just put one down here. We'll just kind of bring it down and line those up. And then I'm going to bring another one out and put it here beside this one. Alright, so we're only going to be working on the reviews view controller for this lesson. But I went ahead and added the other one so we'd have it. So we need to add a new file. It's going to be a Cocoa Touch class, and it's going to be a subclass of UI view controller. And we're going to call it Reviews VC. We're going to create that. So there's our Reviews VC. Let me get rid of some of this stuff in here. Alright, save that. Now we can go back to our main storyboard. And we're going to make this one here just to the right of this Details VC, our Reviews VC. So I'm going to go to the Identity Inspector, pull this down, and choose Reviews VC for the class. Alright. Now then, we need to go back to our Details VC here. And we need a Prepare for Segue method in here. And the reason we do is because we need to pass the food truck, the selected food truck, over. So actually the first thing we need to do is in our Reviews view controller here, we need a new variable, just like we did in the other one, for selected food truck. Now if we go back to our Details VC, we can add a Prepare for Segue. So Prepare for Segue. Now then, we've got two possibilities here. There's going to be two segues, one to the reviews and one to add review. So we're going to go ahead and set both of those up now. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to say if segue.identifier is equal to show reviews segue. Then we're going to say let destination view controller equals segue dot destination as reviews VC. And then we're going to say destination view controller, and let me scroll up just a hair so you can see. We're going to say destination view controller dot selected food truck is equal to selected food truck. And if you'll remember, we're getting that selected food truck right here. It's being passed into this one, and we're just going to pass it on to this through this segue. Now then, we can say else if, and we'll say segue.identifier equals show add review VC. Then we can say let destination view controller equals segue dot destination as add review VC. Now this is going to be an issue because we don't have that that view controller created yet. But we'll go ahead and create that here in just a second. So then we can say destination view controller dot selected food truck is equal to selected food truck. Alright, So I'm going to save that. Now, since we're getting this error here, I'm going to go ahead and create this add review VC. So we're going to right click on controller here and say new file, Cocoa Touch class. And it's just add review VC. And inside that, so we got rid of that, and we need to add that selected food truck variable again. All right. So there's that. And now if we go back to our details VC, this error should clear up, and it does. So if we segue and we go to show reviews, we're going to pass this food truck over to our view, to the next view controller. Same way for the show add review VC. So now we need to add those segues. So we need show reviews segue. So we'll go to our main storyboard. And we're going from details over to this one. So we need to find details and control click from there over to there and show. And this segue is called show reviews VC. And while we're at it, we'll go ahead and add one from details up here down to, actually, we've got to click on this view controller and change the class. That's going to be our add review VC. So now we can control click from the owner of details VC down to here and say show. And then click on this segue. And that one was show add review VC right here. All right. So we go ahead and put those in there so we don't forget. All right. So we need to do some work on this view controller here. So we need our UI view header at the top. Alright, so we're going to drag a UI view up here and put it up in the corner, just like we've done previously. We're going to pin it left, top, and right, and give it a height of 65. And then add those constraints. And then we are going to choose our maroon color. Alright. Now we're going to need a back button here. And we're going to need our label for the food truck name. So I'm going to drag the label out here, somewhere right around there. And we're going to choose custom Helvetica new. And we'll make it bold. And we'll make it about 24. And it's going to be white. And I'll make this quite a bit bigger here. And then we're going to center it. And then I'm going to need a UI button. So let's put the button there. Get rid of the text. Add the image. Then I'm holding down shift so I can constrain the correct ratios. Let's get it down to about there. Alright, so I'm going to pin that to the left. We're going to pin it 20 to the left. We're going to say 8 to the bottom. And we'll give it a fixed width and height. And then on the label, I'm going to give it a fixed width and height. We're going to pin it 8 to the bottom. And then I'm going to center it horizontally in container. Alright, So let's update our views here. That doesn't look too bad. So the next thing we need is a table view. So I'm going to drag a table view in here. And we're going to pin it right, bottom, left, and then 0 to the top as well. And update. Okay. And then for our table view, we need one prototype cell. So I need to come up here to prototype cells. Change that to 1. So there's our prototype cell. Now we're also going to need a custom table view cell. So I'm going to come over here to view, and I'm going to say new file, and I'm going to do a Cocoa Touch class. And this one is going to be a UI table view cell. And we're going to call this one review cell. And we'll just leave it at that. All right. And then for our review cell, we've got a few things we're going to need. Let me get rid of this set selected. We're going to need a couple of outlets. We're going to need a title label. And that's a UI label. And we're going to need a review text label. And that's going to be a UI label. All right. And then we need a configure cell function in here. And we're going to pass in a review, which is going to be a food truck review. And then there, all we've got to do is set title label.text equal to review.text. And then review text label.text equal to review dot. Oh, I'm sorry, I got that backwards. That one's text. This one up here is title. All right. So that should be all we have to do there. All right. So let's come back over here, and we need to actually add our labels on here. So we need to go ahead and drag our labels on here. And I'm just going to position one up here by the top. And we're going to extend it all the way across. That's going to be for our title. I'm going to make this a little bigger. We're going to drag another one out here right under that. Now this one, I'm going to make bigger. Like so. And I'm going to change the number of lines here to about 10. Okay. And then I'm going to change the system font to Helvetica New. I'm going to leave that. And then for this top one, I'm going to change the font on it as well. Make it just a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to change the color to that maroon color. All right. Now we're going to make these self-sizing. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to go ahead and put some constraints on these. So for this top one, I'm going to pin it left, top, and right and give it a fixed height. And then for the bottom label, I'm going to pin it left, bottom, right, and then 8 from this label at the top. And pin that. All right. So that takes care of that. And then we can go over here and right click on our table view cell here. And we can, actually we can't because we've got to click on it and set our class right here. and it's a review cell. So now we can right click on it and we can choose our title label, and there's our title label. The review text label is that one. And then we also need I didn't add it. We need let's go back to our review cell here. Actually, no, we need to go to our view controller. Let's go to reviews here. We need an outlet for the we'll just call it name label. All right, so we've got name label there. And then we need to go back to our storyboard. And over here, we need to right click and hook up our name label to this label at the top. Okay. So that takes care of that. So let's save that and go back here. All right, now we're also going to need a table view here. And we're also going to need one for our back button. Actually, we're not. We're going to need a IB action for that. And then there, we're going to do the same thing we have been. Just do a pop view controller animated there. So there's our back button, and we need to wire that up. We need to wire our table view up as well. So right here, we can right click again and we can hook up our back button, touch up inside, and then our table view we can hook up to right here. All right. So far, so good. Okay, so let's go back to our reviews VC here. Now, in view did load, we need to do a few things. We need to set our table view delegate, table view data source, and table view delegate. And then we're also going to come down here and add an extension. And that's going to be our data service delegate. And for that, we need, if you'll remember, we need the func trucks loaded. And then we also need func reviews loaded. And the reviews loaded is the one that we're worried about in this one. Like I said, they're not Objective-C. It's not an Objective-C delegate or protocol. So we didn't make anything optional. They're required. So we're getting a warning up here chilling at us because we haven't... we need to add this right here. Extension, reviews VC. And then we need to say UI table view delegate and UI table view data source. All right. So there's the extension for that. Now this should quit yelling at us up here. And down here we need number of sections, and that's going to be 1. And then we need table view number of rows in section. For now, we'll just return. Actually, we can go ahead and return that. For the number of rows in section, we need to return the data service dot instance dot reviews dot count. If you remember, it's just like our food trucks. We've got all these loaded up in reviews array. So there is our number of rows in section. And we need cell for row. So let me find that real quick. Right there. And for now, we're just going to return UI table view cell. Now back up here in our reviews loaded data service delegate, we're going to go ahead and refresh or reload the table view when that happens. And we're going to just say operation q.main.add operation. And then we're just going to say self.tableview.reload data. Okay. So back up here, we need to set that delegate now. So we need to say data service dot instance dot delegate equals self. All right, so we set that. Now another thing we need to do, we need to make sure that there's an actual truck. We need to make sure a truck makes it over in the segue. So we'll say if let truck equal selected food truck. So provided that happens, we need to go ahead and set the name label. .text is equal to truck.name. And then here we also need to call our data service to grab all the reviews. And then for food truck is going to be our truck from right here. All right. So we're good to go there. Now then, to make our table view cells resize automatically, there's a few things we need to do. We need to add an estimated height for row at down here in our table view methods. So we just need to say table view, and we're looking for estimated height for row at. In this one, I experimented around with it, and I'm just going to return 150. You can play with this number a little bit until it suits you. But the next thing we need to do is in view did load up here, we need to say table view dot row height equal UI table view automatic dimension. And then we need to say table view dot estimated row height is equal to 140. And like I said, you can play around with these values until you figure out what works best for you. So we've got our back button done. We're loading up our data. Now we need to come down here to our cell for row. And we need to say if let cell equal table view dot DQ reusable cell with identifier for index path. And with identifier is going to be review cell. And index path is just going to be index path as review cell. All right, so then we just need to call configure cell. So Xcode just took a big header on me, and I've lost some data, some stuff I've put in here. Trying to figure out what all I've lost. We were working on our cell for row at index path down here, so let's go ahead and finish that up real quick. So if let cell equals equals table view dot DQ reusable cell with identifier for index path. And identifier is just review cell, index path is just index path as review cell. All right, and then we'll just say cell.configure cell, and we're going to do data service dot instance dot food dot reviews, sorry, dot reviews, and then index path dot row, and then we can just return the cell. Else we'll return a UI table view cell. Okay, now with that crash, I got rid of some of my code up here, so let me re-add that real quick. And that was estimated height for row at, and I'm just going to return 150. And then up here in view did load, all right, so I got those added back in. Let me go over here and make sure that none of my outlets got disconnected. So we'll come back to Interface Builder, and we'll take a look here. Okay, that looks good. Let me look at the cell. All right, that looks good. Okay, so I think we've got all the pieces to the puzzle now. One thing I need to specify this reuse identifier here, and that was just review cell. So let's just take a run here and just see if I've missed anything. And I'm pretty sure that our first food truck has several reviews. We'll use it as a guinea pig. Sue's Soups. So let's click on it, and now we come to our detail. So let's click reviews, and nothing happens because apparently we didn't wire that up. So let's go back to our details VC here. Yeah, I don't even have an action for that. And then we've also got add review. Now, one thing I forgot about is we need that. We need to show that login if we're not authenticated. So we're going to add that function in here. Show login VC, and we've already got it specified up here. So we'll just say login VC is equal to login VC and instantiate it. And then we'll say login VC dot modal presentation style is equal to UI modal presentation style dot form sheet. So we've got form sheet, and then we just need self dot present, and view controller is login VC, animated is true, and completion is nil. So that should be our login VC. Now we need the reviews button. Now we don't need this login VC unless we're doing the add review button, because for the reviews we're not posting anything. If we tap the add review button, then we need to show this login form if we're not authenticated. So for our reviews button tapped, all we need to do is segue. So we'll just do perform segue with identifier. And then the identifier was show reviews segue. Actually, that's not right. It should be Show Reviews VC. Let me go back to my storyboard and make sure that's correct. So we're going to here, Show Reviews VC. Okay. So let's run this again and see what we've got. I've got an editor placeholder. Oh, right here. Sender self. So let's run it again. So let's look at Sue's Soups again. And let's tap on reviews. And I didn't make the outlet connection, I don't think. One more time here. So we've got reviews button, tap. There we go. Touch up inside. And we're also going to need to hook up one for the other one, but we'll do that in a minute. Let's try it again. See what we got. Sue's Soups. Reviews. There we go. So now we can segue from one of these that has reviews. If we, well, this one has reviews too. But you can see, like Sue's here has some reviews and they're different sizes. So you can see how these cells are resizing based on the content. In order for that to happen, you need to set those things that we set in the file, but you also need to set these constraints inside the table view cell. So I'm not sure what else has reviews, but there is our review view controller. So there's another piece of the puzzle down. All we've got left is to add a review. And we've already got some of the code in place for that. So let's go ahead and jump on to the last lesson here. And we're going to add this add review view controller and wrap this whole project up. But this is really cool because we're using our own API. And you can mold that API to do whatever it is you need it to do. And then you can build your apps on top of that, and it's just really, really cool. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump over to the last lesson, and we'll wrap this iOS app up and see where we go from there. So we'll see you in the next one.